What is good, guys? It's Ray J back with another video. And this one I want to talk about what's going on with the overall market, what's going on with Tesla, some important levels to watch for, and the trickery that happened in the morning. I'm also going to break down how the market is looking for the rest of the day. But before I break anything down about all this information, before I get into any more details, let me just mention a couple of things. I'm firstly not a financial planner, so make sure you take none of this as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out the Webull link, which is down below and in the description. If you sign up for Webull, the link down below, and deposit any amount of money into the account, you are guaranteed up to 12 free stocks. The offer ends in just about 4 days, so check it out before they run out. With that out of the way, let's get on with the video. So what happened to the market today? Why did the market move the way it did? And this is actually very interesting to witness. So when the data came out in the morning, in case you missed my morning video, we had the PPI report. This is a leading indicator for CPI, right? So the inflationary numbers came out for the morning, and they were all a little bit hotter than expected. So this is a signal that inflation may start going up. This was negative for the market, so the market came down, right? But this was a trap. They set a trap for every single person out there, like retail, because they were going to make money off the liquidity. And here's what they did. So we basically formed like a pennant in the morning. We came down, came back up, came down, back up. So we were going sideways in the morning. And you could see these wicks right here made me less certain. Like if I were trading this, I'd be less certain to go short or long or doing anything like that until we saw the breakout. And we had a lot of wicks to the downside. So this was like lots of trickery. They were like hitting the market down, pushing it back up. So they were accumulating positions down here. They were buying down here. This we could like confirm this because of the breakout. And this is why we saw these wicks like this. And this is why there are these like fake outs. Now, what they did is they made SPY break temporarily below 444, which made a lot of retail short. So it was all part of their plan. They wanted everyone to think the market was going to sink, this and that, right? It was all part of a game. Shorts started piling in. People started shorting hard once we hit below 444, our critical support. And then they had another idea. Remember when I warned you guys that at 10 o'clock a.m. Eastern time, we have a big move coming? I told you guys we had the Michigan Consumer Sentiment Report. Now, typically, these are not that significant for the markets. They don't really cause major moves. But what happened was the data was as expected, if not a little bit better, in terms of the 5-year inflationary expectation being lower than expected. And the consumer expectations were not that bad. So everything was quite good, I would say, from it. But it was that good enough to cause the market to just explode? I wouldn't necessarily say that typically. But here's what they did. These people used this news, this better than expected data, this small piece of data, as an excuse to pump the markets to screw over shorts. You guys see that? As soon as the data came out right here, the market started pumping a little bit. Once we were 5 minutes after the data was out, it just pumped like crazy. SPY went from the 444s, it was actually in the 443.9 area, all the way up to 445 within 5 minutes. This was within like 3 minutes. It just pumped like crazy and it started to shoot to the upside. So if you were trading this, what you wanted to do was keep the bigger time frames, such as like the 30 minutes time frame by your side. And you would have noticed that, yes, we came down here, but the 30 minutes started curling. As soon as we started to see this thing pumping, this would start curling. That was a good signal. Once we hit like the 444 area, that was a signal to start like closing short positions. I would say even though it's just like holding 444 would have been a good time, but this was a signal to close the shorts, and then you could have even gone long from here based off the 30-minute because we got this bullish cross on the PPO, and then the 5-minute already confirmed that. The 5 minutes MACD already showed this crossover right here. So this crossover already happened. That was your signal, and the market ended up breaking above our 50 EMA, and we got a really nice push because of it. So that was their plan, and then we formed this bearish divergence right here, a very tiny one, and that's what led to the tiny reversal right here before the market started to rebound a little bit. So that was like our topping signal. So this was a really good opportunity for people out there who are trying to trade, to go long. And the best idea would have been to like not start shorting from the get-go, not shorting from the very beginning because of PPI, but instead waiting, being patient, letting patience, which is known as a virtue, set in and wait for the Michigan numbers to come out, because I was expecting a big move and we weren't sure which way the market would go. Once it started breaking to the upside, you had that signal, and that could have been a very good buying opportunity. So that's the way to go about these trades. Do not let FOMO get the best of you. Be patient. That's the lesson for today. Wait for the data. But now let's talk about SPY and Tesla. So what's going on with SPY in the present? Basically, this is what SPY is looking like. It is getting tighter in this wedge. You can see how this wedge is still playing out. But here's the thing. Our critical support is not actually at the wedge, but at 444. That's the very important support. Resistance is all the way up here between 446 to 447. I would say closer to like 446.5. That's like the really heavier resistance up around here. So this is going to be our supply zone. This area up here, major resistance. Our demand zone is around 444 so far today. That's the range of the day. Now, if we break below 444, we know the low of the day could be retested. If we break above our resistance at 446, right? We could start pushing for 447. If that breaks 447.5 is a possibility, but there is some heavy resistance there because that's what stopped the market yesterday as well. So these are some important levels. The main range would be 446 to 447 as resistance and then 444 as support. What are we doing right now? We're forming a pennant, so we're going to be expecting a big move. We're getting very tight and tight and tight on SPY. So eventually it's going to break in one direction. It tends to be a bigger move with more volatility, but it does not have to be like a massive $5 move, for example. It could just move a couple of dollars. We'll see which way it breaks. We just have to wait for it until then. And until then, it's just a game of patience. So watch your support and resistance levels, watch the market get tighter, watch the pennant, and we will see which way it breaks. Now, that's what we're waiting for today. Max Pain is a little bit higher in the 447 area as of right now. So there is a chance they might try to pump us a little bit, but just to be safe, we have to see which way it breaks. We have to see which way the break happens as confirmation, just to be safe. Because in this market, it's best to not assume things. Do not assume that just because Max Pain is higher, they're going to pump us up. Be prepared for it and lean a little bit more in that direction, but do not make any trades or like expect it to happen until we get a confirmed break in one direction, which would need to be in the upside if you want to trade long. So I want to make that as clear as possible. Let the charts tell you what to do. For Tesla, this was very tricky. They basically smacked Tesla down in the morning. It dumped, right? A lot of people started shorting Tesla. And then we actually hit 238 after PPI came out. And then right when the Michigan Consumer Sentiment Report came out, Tesla went back to about 239.8. And then a little bit after, it pushed all the way up back up to about 242. So they pumped Tesla a little bit after the data came out. The whole market pumped off of it. They used that as a reason to pump it. A lot of people were shorting Tesla because of the break below 240. It was a trap because once we got back above it, that was your signal to get out of those trades because the market was showing some strength. And they started pumping Tesla and went all the way up to about 243. But if anything, it's just trading sideways now. It's very flat. It's spent most of the day between 239.5 to about 243. I would say just going back and forth and back and forth. When SPY gets a breakout and the whole market breaks down in one direction, whether it's upside or downside, I'm leaning a little bit more in favor of the upside. But just to be safe, we have to watch for confirmation, of course. Whichever direction it breaks in, Tesla's going to likely follow, but Tesla's very tight, very sideways. I'm not really expecting a massive move or anything like that. So just watch your levels, watch resistance. Right now, the 5-minute 200 EMA is one resistance on Tesla. And then finally, for the QQQ and Nvda, basically QQQ is kind of stuck as well. The support is around 364.69, 364.5 to 365, I would say. And then 368 is resistance. We're just going back and forth, getting very tight. And we will see which way it breaks in. It's going to follow SPY, so we'll see. For now, it's currently at support, a little bit weaker than others out there, such as like Apple, but it is making an attempt to hold up. So we're going to be watching support on it. It's just very sideways. And Nvidia, of all things, is a little bit weak. Nvidia is down 3%, came down to the level I called out, 406. Below that, we have 401 to 400. Then we have the other levels. We came down to these very, very critical levels after Nvidia broke down. After breaking down, I also want to mention that it's just trading sideways now. We have resistance around 411.88. And above that, we have like this imbalance around 414. I mean, could we try to get one little pump if the market gets like a bounce to about 412? It's a possibility, but it's going to be very, very tight. I mean, for me, it's not really worth trading for the rest of the day. It's just very sideways, very flat. If anything, it's just killing the thetas for many option premiums. The data is just killing the premiums, and they're just moving it sideways, not really doing too much so far. So I'm just expecting sideways price action. There could be a little pop if SPY does get that small little break to the upside. Once again, I'm not saying it's going to be significant. I'm just saying it could happen, and it could lead to somewhat of a move to the upside. But you have to watch resistance at the 50 EMA on Nvidia on the 5-minute time frame. If it gets above this, there is a possibility of like 414, but like I said before, I'm not really counting on anything too big. It's very boring, very sideways. And that's basically the same for most stocks out there. I want to keep this one short just to get this video out there as fast as possible. And just remember to watch support and resistance levels. Be aware of what on earth these individuals/institutions are doing. Be very, very calm, cool, and collected in a market like this. And just be patient because close is coming and things will change a lot by next week. There is one little concern I do have about the market, though, before I end the video. One little concern for the bulls, and that is the VIX. On the 30 minutes time frame, the VIX does have a nice inverse head and shoulders that could be developing. Excuse me, sorry guys. It could be developing. There's a possible like falling wedge and might get a breakout next week. There's a possibility, but not a guarantee. If this is an inverse head and shoulders and the VIX is going to break out, that would be a bearish signal for the stock market. But could that actually be what's happening? We don't know for sure unless we get the bounce, and we're still waiting for that to happen just to be safe. So there's nothing confirmed on the VIX. It's just one possibility, one thing to keep in your mind just to be safe of possible downside for the markets. Okay, so that's just my warning for everyone. Just be prepared and keep this in your mind. There's no guarantee it's going to play out. It could always just break down anyways. The market may be the thing dictating this, of course. So just watch it carefully. We will see what happens. And with that said, have a great day, everyone. Watch support and resistance. Watch your levels very, very closely, and we will see which way the market goes. Thank you for listening. Have a great day. I will see you guys very soon. Let's see which way SPY ends up going. So watch your levels. Also watch Tesla as things are getting very tight. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you and peace out.